Don't mind me, just here drinking my hot chocolate from my Akamath mug that I got in my Fairy Loot box, and I am in love with it. You guys can't tell, but I'm wearing pajama pants, and under my pajama pants I am wearing more pajama pants. It's very cold here in Australia, and now I am taking advantage of the no rain noises to film this video. So I have a very good excuse of why I have not been posting over the past couple days. Well, past like 2 weeks. I went to the hospital, I ended up having surgery. It was not fun, but I'm back now. I will explain it all in a different video because this video is about the one, the only, A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. This is my most highly anticipated book of the year. I have been looking forward to this book for a very long time, and it's finally here. I've read it, I'm doing a reread at the moment, and then I'm rereading it with a friend again in June, and I might make some videos about the reread, but this is gonna be my review of this incredible book. I'll start off with a non-spoilery bit for those of you who haven't read the book and want to read it. You can go and read it, you can come back, you can join us and tell us your thoughts about the book. This book is incredible. It follows Feyre, our character, going back to the Spring Court to basically wreak havoc. She is such a boss. I loved it. I love her. I love the characters. We see a lot of new characters in this book. There are going to be 3 more books in the series and then 2 novellas, but they're going to follow different narratives in these 3 books. I think that a lot of the new characters we met in this book and a lot of the new plot twists in this book are going to be very much involved in the next 3 books plus the 2 novellas. And knowing Sarah J Maas, those 2 novellas are not going to be novellas, they're going to be books. There is literally one thing about this book. One thing that I have a qualm with, and that's that I wanted a longer story. This book is just under 200,000 words. It is 700 pages long. I can't be complaining, but I want more, which just means I want the next book. I freaking loved it. Sarah J Maas is my favourite author of all time. These books and the Throne of Glass series, both by Sarah J Maas, are my new Harry Potter. They stand up with Harry Potter to me. They are just as good. Pajama pants are Harry Potter. I love it. It's incredible. It's beautifully written. So if you haven't read it and you plan to read it, go and read it now because I'm about to get into the spoilery bit. If you have read it and you want to hear my review, or you are not going to read it but you still want to hear my review, let's get into it now. So goodbye to the non-spoilery people. Okay, spoilery people. My heart was broken, and then it was fixed, and then it was broken, and then it was fixed. This book, oh my gosh, it's terrifying. This review is going to be a little weird. I shot some of my review stuff while I was in the hospital, so I'm going to be cutting back and forth between those 2 things and like my reaction to it all. Quick shout out to my friend Sophia from Reader of Winterfell on Instagram, who was like my therapist through this book because she finished it a couple days before I did, so she knew everything, and I was talking to her and crying with her while I was reading the ending of the book. They're going to be spoilers now, so if you're still here and you don't want spoilers, you need to leave. The bit where Rhys died, I completely lost it. I completely, utterly lost it. I think that I even took a bit of film of myself losing it, so I'll show you that now. I can't do it. Oh my god, it's okay. Oh my god. Yeah. My mum came in and she started filming me because she thought, oh, this would be good for your YouTube channel, but she accidentally pressed the take a picture button on the cell phone and not the record button. So all I have is this picture. I was hysterical. I was screaming. And yes, there was some portion of my brain that knew yes, they were going to bring him back. I even said it to Sophia when I was reading the book. I was talking about the kind of things that I was expecting or wondering, and I said, well, if one of them dies, Feyre has magic from all of the High Lords. Surely she could do that thing that they did for her in the first book and bring them back. But obviously my money wasn't quite on the dot, so I was wrong, but I was right at the same time. When we got to that end, I thought that maybe she would bring him back somehow, but obviously she couldn't. For whatever reason, she couldn't do it herself. Tamlin? Tamlin? Okay, I'm gonna have a little bit of a talk about Tamlin now. Yes, I do not like Tamlin very much. I do not love him, but my feelings about him have changed from my thoughts in A Court of Mist and Fury. I was never in love with Tamlin, even in the first book. I liked Tamlin, but I much preferred Lucien, and I was way more interested in Rhys than Tamlin. By A Court of Mist and Fury, I hated him. I couldn't stand him. Because I just like abusive relationships. I still don't really like him very much, but I do hope that he finds happiness, and let me tell you why in a minute after I have my rant. That scene when they're in the Dawn Court, I think it was the Dawn Court, and then they're in like the palace thing, and Tamlin shows up and he starts talking complete about Feyre and about Rhys, and he's calling her ambitious and he's calling her a whore. I wanted to kill him myself. I love my little Azrael when he like beat the living crap out of that asshole, and then Feyre was like, Azrael, come, and she gives him a drink, and then he's like listening to her, and then she tells him to go sit down, and she's like, they're my family. I swoon. But that scene then, when Tamlin was calling her a whore and being just a jealous little bitch, I wanted to kill him myself. And I knew that Sarah J Maas had said that at some point Tamlin would have a chance for redemption. And I was reading this and thinking, when is that gonna be? I'm not seeing any signs of redemption. I'm just seeing a jealous, petty little bitch who didn't get what he wanted, who's so used to getting everything that he wanted, and when he didn't, he can't handle it. He saved Feyre's life from the Naga beast thing, which then by that point I thought, okay, so that's what Sarah J Maas meant by his redemption, that he would save Feyre's life, and it did help. It didn't redeem him for me. It fed into his whole repertoire of how he treated Feyre. He treated her like crap, but he didn't want her to die, and he wanted to keep her alive, which was not out of character for him. I wouldn't have expected him to just let her die, because we all knew he was still very much in love with her. The thing that showed real character growth for me was when he saved Rhys, and when the only thing he asked of her was, be happy, Feyre. That was what sold it for me. That is what made me go, okay, you know what, Tamlin? You've made a lot of mistakes. You've really screwed up, but I forgive you, and I wish you well, and I wish you happiness. I hope you can heal, because the thing is, Tamlin is just as messed up as Feyre was before, as Rhys was, as Lucien was, but the thing is, he's messed up in a different way. It's had a different kind of effect on him, and this is not an excuse for him. This is not an excuse, because what he's done is deplorable. But I do hope that somehow this will be the start of his healing. He will make amends for what he's done, that he will fix himself, right himself, and that he can be happy. He is not a terrible person. He's done some terrible things. At the same time, I'm also really curious about what happened during the Spring Court, as in from their POV. I would love to read A Court of Mist and Fury from either Tamlin or Lucien's, probably Lucien's POV, so that I can see what was going on in the Spring Court. That would be really, really good. I freaking love Lucien. He is my baby, and I love him, but I also love my overgrown baby bat. Did anyone else lose their mind when someone in the book, I can't remember who it was, said, control your overgrown bats? I'm just like, oh my gosh, yes, there's little bats. But that was rude. I can imagine like Amren saying something like that. If it had come from like her, I wouldn't have had a thing for it, because she wouldn't have meant it in a rude way. But this guy meant it to be a bitch. Because I'm in love with Sarah J Maas, I know a lot of crap about her. And I also know that she's a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. So I may have like cackled like a witch when I read this. Chapter 7, the first line, excuse me for my butchering of these two names, Ranga and Dagdan looked like they just found second breakfast waiting for them. Did anyone else get the second breakfast reference from Lord of the Rings and from The Hobbit? It's just like, ah, Sarah loves Lord of the Rings. Our little baby bat Cassian got his wings back when he slammed down, and I saw Azriel's name first. I don't know why, but you know when your eyes are just like darting all over the place and you're trying not to spoil it for yourself, so you have to cover it up? I did that for the last half of the book. I had to get one of my get well cards from the hospital, just like covering it up so that my eyes didn't betray me. But in that scene they did, and I saw Azriel's name first, so I didn't realize Cassian was there. And then when I kept reading and I saw Cassian, his wings, I was just like, yes!
Okay guys, I'm on page 121 and Cassian and Azriel have just come to the rescue and Cassian has his wings.
I said in my Court of Wings and Ruin Theories video that I really hoped that in the next book I started to like Nesta more. We got to that bit where they're having dinner and she literally threatens to rip Feyre's throat out. In that scene when they're waiting for Grayson, that asshole, and his father, and Feyre is in the enclosed space and she's getting a bit panicky and stuff, and then she tells this to Nesta, and Nesta admits that she can't use a bathtub anymore, that she has to use buckets. That was her redemption point for me. She was willing to let herself be vulnerable to make Feyre feel better, to make Feyre feel less alone. When she like lay across him and the king was coming to them, I was just like, no, please, just don't. Pick him up and go. You can probably, just try. Elaine being the one to stab the king? Like, Elaine had PTSD, and just because it didn't manifest the same way that Nesta's did, or Rhys's, or Feyre's, or any of them, doesn't make it any less real. People need to just cut her some slack. I also thought that Nesta was gonna be Illyrian. She's like Amren. It didn't even cross my mind that she'd be like Amren, but holy crap. Again, I said in my theories video that I thought all three girls would have something to do with disabling the cauldron, and I was right to a degree. They were all involved in disabling Hybern. We're going to talk a bit about that scene at the end with the cauldron, with what happened with Amren and then with Rhys. I started crying so hysterically when I thought for a split second that Amren had betrayed them. That split second I lost hope, because I knew we needed Amren if we were going to win this war. Amren, being the incredible, amazing person she is, was actually gonna sacrifice herself to save her people. And I started crying the second the cereal died, and I didn't stop until the last page, and then by then I was just going like, well, this.
Oh, he's alive! I am wrecked!
Another person who I'm curious about and who I think that we are going to probably be seeing in future books is Baron. But I think we're definitely going to see some stuff about Miriam and Drakon and Vassa and the Winter Court and the Dawn Court, and oh my gosh, I want a book about Tarquin. I love Tarquin. That scene where he retracted the blood rubies and then Mor said, good luck getting it back from Amren, she's grown attached to it. And then Marion was just like, huh. I think it was Mor who said that. May have been Cassian. Okay, I am not alone in this ship, but I ship Azriel and Elaine. I know that she's mates with Lucien, but I think Lucien's probably going to end up with Vassa, that queen, who was turned into the bird. That's kind of a little bit like Swan Princessy to me, so I'm thinking if that's the next book, it's probably a retelling of the Swan Princess, which would be pretty cool. We all know that Sarah J Maas really likes her retelling. I am so happy for Mor, because I feel like now that she's been able to admit that she likes women to Feyre, it'll be easier for her to find peace and comfort coming out to the rest of her family. I really hope that she somehow finds happiness and joy, and that she finds someone who she can love. That's partially why I ship Azriel with Elaine, because he deserves that too. He deserves someone who he can love and who will love him, and Elaine would be that person, and he is so gentle and kind with her, and he gave her truth teller, and he went into the camp knowing that it was probably a suicide mission to get her. I don't ship more with anyone at this point. There's no one who I would say, yes, I want to see more with you, because there's no one good enough for her at this point. But I really hope that she finds somebody amazing. I really hope that we get a book from her POV, because diversity like that in YA books, it's becoming more common and it's becoming more accepted, but it's still not common enough. And to have a book from her POV going through that and coming out and being comfortable with herself, because it's been like, what, 500 years, would be really, really, really amazing. You know what the best part about this book was? No one died permanently. Thank the Cauldron for that. The Cauldron is now with Miriam and Drakon, and I know that a lot of the High Lords are probably going to be looking for that cauldron and are going to want it for some reason. The book was beautiful. I loved it, and I was very satisfied with the ending. And can we just take a minute to celebrate that Ianthe the bitch is dead, and that she died spectacularly at Feyre's manipulative hand to the Weaver. I loved it. This here is the book before it. And this book, how many pages is it? How many pages are you, my lovely? This book is 626 pages long. This book is 700 pages long. Why is it smaller? I hate that. I hate, because I know that, yes, there's a lot of pages and you gotta like serve the environment or whatever, and the fact is that like you couldn't fit it into a normal binder, but you could at least try, because it doesn't look right. So I've also got some unboxings coming up of some stuff to do with this book, which I will be giving to you probably next week, and some really exciting news about the next Sarah J Maas book, which is the Kale book, and it is called Tower of Dawn. And I've got some really exciting news about something that I'm going to be doing for that release. So subscribe if you want to find out, and if you have already subscribed, thank you. And one more thing, thank you so much for 2,000 subscribers. You guys are incredible. I feel so blessed and so lucky, and I am so grateful for all of you. One thing that I want to start doing in my videos, because I'm a small book YouTuber, I want to start shouting out some other small booktube channels that I think are really amazing. This week I want to shout out These Book Lions. It's run by a girl named Haley. She's 19, she's from America. She's done some really fantastic videos. I think she's just done a review for this book as well. But she has also done a really amazing video about diversity in YA books. I'll actually link it below because I thought it was fantastic. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Erin. I will make more book videos about this incredible book and the incredible series that it's a part of later, probably this month, maybe next month. Let me know what else you guys would like to see on my channel. I'm Erin. Thank you again so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!